National Executive Council, NEC, agrees to distribute subsidy palliatives using state-generated social register. Indeed, they have jettisoned the older arrangement by the former President Muhammadu Buhari. Welcome to Business Daily. I am Yusuf Akogu. We take our business top stories. Glad to have you back. Now we quickly give you update of this of trading activities on the floor of the Nigerian stock market on Thursday. Of course, the market closed positive on Thursday. The all share index gaining to 0.27%, and of course, in terms of volume of trade, over a billion, value 18.06 billion there, and of course 7,179 deals exchanged. And yesterday, the gainers for the day were a very top three that we have here. UPL gaining 10% to close at 2 naira 42 kobo indeed, and of course Union Cell also gaining 9.97% to close also positive there, 3 naira 20 kobo. Of course, Academy Press also gaining 9.95% to get to close positive there, 2 naira 43 kobo. The share prices ended on Thursday. On the losing side, we have Cod Vile losing 9.86% on the day, of course, to close downward there, 64 kobo, the price of the share there. FTN Cocoa also losing 9.66% to close downward, 1 naira 87 kobo. Of course, Abe BDS also losing 9.49% to close downward at 1 naira 24 kobo per share. Of course, the activity charts are also dominated there by the banking sector, the UBA, Sterling Bank, and of course FBN, First Bank of Nigeria Holdings, 962 million volume of shares UBA traded, followed by Sterling Bank, 43.7 million, and of course FBN Holdings, 40.3 million volume of shares it traded on the day. How are all this reflected in the performance of the sector? Of course, almost all the sectors are in green today. The banking sector 0.59, the industrial sector 0.01, of course the consumer good also strong there, 0.30%, and of course the oil and gas sector also strong there as well, 0.41%. Of course, the highest gainer for the day, the insurance sector, 1.19% and then business on the day. We look at how the rest of Africa are doing. Indeed, all of them are down in red. In Johannesburg Stock Exchange down there, in South Africa 0.25%, the market ended. Of course, in Nairobi, Kenya, Nairobi Stock Exchange also down 0.65%. And if you come down to West Africa here in Ghana, Ghana Stock Exchange closing negative as well, 0.01%. Not so much in terms of performance there from the market across the continent. But we take a very quick break now, and when we come back, we'll go into our discussion. Don't go away. Glad to have you back. It's still Business Daily right here on Trust Television. Now we're going into our discussion. And today we are looking at the Nigeria export market. What role has the NEPC played so far to drive, especially the economic diversification agenda of the federal government? I have somebody who should know right in the studio, Dr. Ezra Yakusak. He's the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria Export Promotion Council. Glad to have you on Business Daily.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's always a pleasure having you here, sir.
Yeah.
Let's go into what your agency has done so far. You are at the center of the economic diversification agenda of the federal government. You drive the non-oil sector. Tell us the effort that you have made so far in achieving that goal.
Okay, yeah, we've made several efforts at diversifying the economy of Nigeria. As you are aware, NEPC was set up in 1976 to promote...
47 years ago.
Yeah, about 47 years ago, to promote non-oil export basically and ensure or encourage the development of industries in Nigeria. And we've had several programs that we've initiated to achieve that. Basically, I need to tell you that one of the key issues we identify is the issue of export rejections from, Nigerian products, export rejects. And so we set up programs and some interventions to curb that case of export reject. And one of the things we did is our certification programs.
But the question is, why are they rejecting our exports?
Okay,
why are they rejecting our products?
There are so many reasons why these products are being rejected. One of the reasons is that some of our exporters, they don't comply with the import regulations of those countries, of the various countries. And secondly, we've had cases where the products are not up to the standard that are required in those countries. And another reason is, of course, the fact that for every country, there are basic certifications that are required. Even in Nigeria, for example, if you are manufacturing food or drug for consumption internally, you need the approval of NAFDAC. So there are some basic certifications that are required internationally. If you don't have such certifications, your products will not be accepted in such markets.
Okay, for somebody that wants to become an exporter watching us right now, what are the certifications that the person required to become one?
That's a good question. It depends on the product, and it depends on where he intends to export that product. Let me give you an example. If you are exporting to the US, you need FDA. If you are exporting to, if it's a food product you are exporting to Saudi Arabia, you require what we call halal. If you are exporting to food products, exporting to Israel, for example, you require kosher. But there are another basic certification that is required. That's the hazard analysis and critical control point, has it for food products. So these are some of the certifications required. So it depends on where you are exporting to, and it depends on the product you are exporting to. So, and of course, like plant products, you require the certification from the quarantine service, Nigerian quarantine service. You require such certifications. So without those certifications, the product will not be accepted. And another thing is packaging, because packaging is very key. If there is any message we've preached to to Nigerians out there, it's just about packaging. Even as a human being, if you are not well packaged, nobody will accept you. And that's a statement of fact.
Absolutely.
The way you're dressed is the way you are going to be addressed. That's how it is.
That's right.
And so, internationally, a product has to be well packaged. I am very sure you've purchased several products, even in the local market, and you get disappointed at the product, but you purchase those products not because of the product, but because of the packaging. You may have not heard of the product, you may have not have an idea how the product tastes or feel, but the packaging is one of the most attractive things that attract people to a product. So packaging is one key area again that we need to improve. It's an area that we've been talking about, and we've, to address that, we've had several seminars and several technical sessions and training sessions and sensation programs to various exporters and SMEs on the need to package their products.
Interesting. You also, there's another thing that you also talked about that I have listened to you you talk about giving incentives to exporters as a way of encouraging them to go into exports. Can you talk to us more about it? What are the criteria do you have to meet to enjoy the incentives?
Okay, we have several expenses. It depends on at what point in time. We have a post shipment incentive and a pre-shipment incentive. The pre-shipment incentive is what we call the Export Development Fund. It was set up by virtue of the Export Incentive and Miscellaneous Provision Act. That fund was actually set up in 1986, but then due to lack of fund, because funds is required, the first time that was kickstarted was in 2021, and about 1,150 or thereabout plus SMEs benefited from that fund. That fund is given where someone is making a research, where someone wants to assess a market, where someone is trying to test his product abroad, and he's incurring some expenses. You write a project to the NEPC, and subject to availability of funds, we give you the costs incurred for that project. The other incentive is what we call the export expansion. It's a post-shipment incentive scheme, the export expansion grant scheme. And that the way it works is that once you export, you have to export your product first. By the time you export and you trade your product, depends on the value added on your product. You'll be given a particular percentage of the value of your product that has been repatriated. For example, you can be given up to 15% or 10% or 7.5% or even 5%, depending on the value added. What that means is that you may get very low EEG, that's export expansion grant, if you export just raw commodity. But if it is fully manufactured,
yes,
you are likely to get up to
finished
15%.
product.
Yeah, finished product. You are likely to get up to 15% of the value of your product. Another incentive we do is we go to various international trade fairs across the country, because if you want to promote, you have to take your goods physically to certain countries. And we have various international trade fairs across the globe. And once we are taking our exporters to such trade fairs, we give them 50% rebate of their etiquette. We freight their goods or exhibits or products free of charge up to 100 kg. We give them free exhibition halls. We pay for it, of course, that's what I mean. Free local transportation. If it is a country that requires interpreters, we also give them interpreters. Yeah, these are some of the things we do. Part of the incentive.
You have quite a whole lot of things that you're actually putting in place. You talked about, export. Now let's look at what we're actually exporting: raw materials or the finished product. You talked about when we are exporting raw materials, we're more like exporting jobs.
Yeah.
So what are you doing in that regard?
Yeah, what we are doing in that regard is sensitization. People need to know, because if they don't know, don't do what is right. So that's what we are doing, sensitization. I can tell you that just half of this year, we have 34 state offices in the whole
36
out of 36 states.
Okay, and FCT.
And FCT, we have 34 state offices.
Okay.
And we are using those state offices as grassroots export promotion programs. And so from January to June this year, we've organized about 140 various programs, seminars, essential programs, and about 18,000 people were participated in such programs. And so what we are doing in that regard is basically sensitization. Because see, if you don't add value to your product, like you said, you are actually exporting jobs to other countries. If you are exporting raw commodities, it doesn't involve much. Yes, I know there's so much involved, but the level is not much comparable compared to if you are adding value. Once you are adding value, you have to process the product. And for process the product, chances are you need machinery, you need manpower to process that product. And so you create jobs. And that's what we're talking about. And one of the things people don't understand really is that if you export raw commodity, what you get is very minimal compared to where you add value. You have high premium on that product once you add value. So this is some of the messages we are preaching to people to ensure that people add value on their products.
You also talked about quite some initiative that you have on ground. You talk about creating Nigerian export houses, Export 774 initiative, Youth for Export, and of course, Passport for Export. Yes. Nigeria may want to know about how all of this thing works.
Okay, like let me take the first one you just mentioned here. That's the export trade houses. The export trade house is just an initiative we took to assess international market and ensure visibility of Nigerian products in international market. You will agree with me that you have gone to several stores and you intend to buy a particular product, but you see another product, you don't have an idea what it is, and you end up buying it. So that's the essence. In those trade houses, Nigerian products are displayed in a showroom, but we also have a warehouse where we can keep those products. Nigerian products
so they can easily be accessed by Nigerians. They can easily be
accessed by foreigners there. Okay. By foreigners, not necessarily Nigerians. Yes, Nigerians, if you are staying there, that's okay, but we actually target international market. So once those products are kept there, we invite people, there's publicity in the various countries that we've set up those export trade houses, and they see that products, and of course, orders are generated for directly to the manufacturer of that product. So we feel it's an avenue to access the international market, niche markets. And so far, we've created or we've established export trade houses in Egypt, that's Cairo, Nairobi, Kenya, Lome, Togo, and of course, of recent, we established one in China, Hunan province. That's for the export trade house.
We'll talk about the Export 774
the Export 774 is, we just sat down as a management and we realized the need to, because you can't export without information. That's key. Information is very key, even in business. Any business, anything, if you want to succeed, if you don't have the right information, you will never succeed. And so the Export 774 is just a compendium. We're producing a compendium of all the exportable products in Nigeria in all the 774 local governments, and of course with the 6 area councils in the FCT. And the essence is that by the time we finish that compendium, I will look at the products, where the products are cited, how you can get the products, and the potential of that products, and the market where those products.
Is this similar to the states? I mean, one product, one state.
No, one product, one state is different. Okay. One product, one state, one product, really. One state, one product is different. One state, one product is another project that we initiated to identify just at least one product in every state, of course, with an alternative product. The essence of that is to avoid what we call a jack of all trades, master of none. If one state in Nigeria can concentrate on one product and develop that product and export that product, we'll go far. But we're not saying they must concentrate on one product, but they can work on other products. But efforts should be made to
a particular state should be known for a particular product.
A particular state should be known for a particular product. And so that's the essence of the one state, one product. And we're doing that in collaboration with the various state committee on export promotion that have been established in the whole 36 states, and of course the FCT. This is just the essence of the one state, one product.
Talk about youth for exports. A lot of people want to know, are you exporting the youth?
No, we're not exporting the youth. Okay. You see, there's this jackpot freedom that is syndrome.
Absolutely.
That is coming out. Our youths, who have this brain drain, our youths are going out, they are jackpotting, right? That's a new term in our lexicon now. Youths are jackpotting. And so, what we are saying is that instead of the youth to jackpot, let the products jackpot, but stay and develop our country. And honestly, also the intel we are getting is that most of these youths, people move out of anger, people move out of without proper planning, people move without even knowing where they are going. And at the end of the day, they bring shame to this country. So we're saying, come, youths, you can explore export as an avenue, as an alternative, because see, if you are doing well, very well here, you don't have to go outside the country. So we encourage them to export. And what we are doing is to sensitize them, trade them, and take them to experienced exporters to handhold them and teach them on how to export. And of course, we're working on the finances also. We're with NEPC, so that where they require finances, we'll direct them to NEPC. That's their statutory responsibility anyway. Nigerian Export-Import Bank. We direct them to NEPC for necessary finance. This second phase of that program is what that kicked off about 4 weeks ago, and that is the football talent hunt. And of course, that's under export of services. And so we organized, about 4 weeks ago, we organized a talent hunt football. We invited some football academies across the country, and they came. And of course, we invited scouts, foreign scouts, who came, and directors of various football clubs, who came to Nigeria, in Abuja, Agui and Rossi Cantonment, to be specific. And we had a 5-day talent hunt program where there were various features, and these young men played. And we were able to identify, they were able to identify 3 players that they felt are very good enough. They are good enough for their own clubs, and they can be signed up. And so that is what we are doing for the youths.
Okay, interesting. Let's look at the performance of the non-oil exports in 2022. $4.82 billion was realized, and we expected 172 companies exported 214 product to 122 destinations in 2022.
Yes,
so the question I'm asking, what product are we exporting to some of these countries?
Oh, well, in 2022, that was an impressive performance. I must say that too, because
yes, that's the highest that we've had so far.
Yeah, that's the highest we've had so far. Of course, since the Nigerian Export Promotion Council was established in 1976.
Absolutely, and I must commend your effort.
So thank you. Yeah, it's the effort of Nigerians, effort of our management, and effort of all Nigerians. They've realized the need to export as a means of getting foreign exchange. So it's all congratulations to Nigerians. Now, having said that, most of the export, one key export that was exported in 2022 that brought us so much foreign exchange was fertilizer, urea fertilizer. And the fertilizer, I need to tell the background, because of the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia-Ukraine, as you are all aware, they are major exporters of fertilizer. And so because of the war, that actually affected the export, the trend in that axis. And so our Nigerian firms just key into that, and they started exporting to Brazil and other countries as fertilizer. And before you know it, we became a net exporter of fertilizer. So one of the key products that we exported last year is fertilizer.
This is clear that we actually have the potential to export all these things to this country.
That's what I keep on saying. That's what I keep on saying. We have the potentials and we have all the products. Can you believe that last year we exported 224 products, 224 different products outside this country to 122 countries, 222 products. We have the potential is there, and one of our products are one of the best in the world. That's the truth. One of the best in the world. And if you were at the program yesterday, I guess you were there. You see somebody is making waves in Kilishi. Kilishi. You know Kilishi?
Yes.
Somebody has repackaged Kilishi and is producing Kilishi and has gone to over 20 countries exporting Kilishi. Yes, we've taken him to in the various international trade fair. We've taken that company to various international trade fair, and we've ensured, we've set up, and we've even assisted him in getting various certification for his Kilishi.
Absolutely.
Yes, so we have several products. Ginger is there, and we exported ginger last year.
Indeed, quite a whole lot of products there. We are pressed for time, actually, and I still have more questions.
Go ahead.
So looking at some of the things that you have said, there's quite not much awareness, especially among Nigerians, with regard to what you have said. How much are you doing in that regard to make sure Nigerians know a lot about the export potentials of the country?
What we are doing is what we are doing. Sensitization. Programs. You agree with me, even this week alone, we've gone to various media houses. Like I said earlier on, we organized about 224 capacity building programs and sensitization programs.
In different states.
All the time.
But you are yet to visit Northeast.
We're in Northeast. We are in Northeast.
Okay, because I saw your map.
Yeah, we have an office. We have an office.
Visited some states for some trainings, but you're yet to go to get to the Northeast.
No, we have offices there. They've trained people. We have offices in Meduguri. We have an office in Bauchi. We have an office in Gombe. We have an office in Yola. We have an office in Takum. Northeast is covered. Northeast is covered.
Finally, in 30 seconds now, tell us about the partnership we are enjoying with some relevant government agencies, SMIDAN, BPSR, and so many of them.
Well, 30 seconds, SMIDAN, for example, let me talk about SMIDAN. SMIDAN have a wonderful partnership. We organize last year, we organized the first ever Nigerian solo exhibition in Gambia. We did that in collaboration with Smedan. And other various, we're even working now with Smedan and Nexim and BOI to attend the Intra-African Trade Fair that is coming up in Egypt. And so we've had so far, and if I must confess, most of our partners, our sister agencies, they've given us all the support they want.
Absolutely. Yes. I hope you extend the partnership to us here at Trust TV as well.
That's okay. That's why I'm here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Ezra Yakusak, Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria Export Promotion Council.
Thank you very much.
I must thank you for your time on Trust TV today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming.
With that is a wrap on Business Daily today. Join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I am Yusuf Akogu.